It's
Here we go. What's up, y'all? Shoebooty Sports episode 112 coming at you Tuesday night. This is the post Christmas episode. Last episode was the pre Christmas episode. We are the day after Christmas episode here. I'm showing a little bit of what I have, at least down here, for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube. But I'm your host, Graham Powell. That's Bradley Brown over there on the other screen. Say what's up, Brad.
what's up?
Usually say what's happening. I was prepared to say quite a bit. But anyway, quick shout out to our sponsor. Y'all know the drill by now. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Once those results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay, so again, post Christmas episode, rocking a little bit of what I have for Christmas. I got my Rhino Races shirt on underneath here. I don't want to open the robe too much, although there is a shirt there, not for nudity purposes. Just saying, got the tie on this robe nice and just the way I want it. It's a Snoop Dogg robe from my mom. For those of you watching at home or at work or whatever,
You look
and of
like you're
course,
channeling Jack Nicholson and Batman.
a little bit. It does
Yeah.
kind of look like that. Yeah. I'd say I was going for that, but that's accidental. It just kind of worked out that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
my raspberry beret here, that's what I got in Paris because I was in Paris and I love Prince. How could I not get a raspberry beret? So I was going to wear it our first episode back, and it just slipped my mind, and then it
Yeah.
just I don't know. But anyway, I was like, I'm rocking the robe tonight. Might as well break out the beret. What do you have there? Is that a Christmas hat that you're rocking, or just one of
No,
your many?
just one of my many.
What the heck is that on the front there? Looks like a pin or something. Okay,
It's
it's
a
not.
it's a dove holding a golf club. It's from the Blessings golf course. It's Arkansas Razorbacks home course, just north of Fayetteville and Johnson.
Well, it's an
Very nice
appropriate.
course.
Yeah, it's an
Very
appropriate
private
logo.
course. Yeah.
Okay, exclusive, big time stuff over there. Okay, so I got this. This was my favorite present. The green Snoop Dogg robe. Shout out to Snoop Dogg, by the way. This thing is like styling, profiling, and super comfortable. So shout out Snoop. Get anything that you liked. You don't have to tell me if you got anything you disliked, unless you just want to.
I got a new rangefinder for golf. That's pretty cool. Uh, got some new shoes, and I got a new blender. So
Blender,
gonna blend me up
Blender,
some stuff.
Blender is a low key, like solid gift.
Yeah, you can
It's
do
kind of
tons of stuff with it.
it's kind of that thing they make fun of in movies as a gift. Like but it's a you get me a blender, like we're good. Like I mean,
Yeah.
that's an excellent gift, A+ gift in my book. Uh, yeah, love me a blender. My friend Haley just gave me my Christmas present from her. It was a, it's like some things you put on the back of your shoes for running. It's like reflectors. There's a red and a green one. I was like, it's like a blinker for my, running or what? And it's like, no, it's just something for like running at night. I was like, okay, interesting. Um, thoughtful, very thoughtful. So
Well,
A+ gift there. Just found it interesting. I was like, I didn't know they made something like this. So okay, cool. All right. Well, yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry belated Christmas at this point. Although we did tell you Merry Christmas last week. So all right. Good Christmas. Hope you all had one too. But let's get to the sports. Who did not have a Merry Christmas on Christmas Day? Lots of Christmas Day games going on. The Kansas City Chiefs. That was a rough showing.
they look terrible.
It was
Yeah.
like a Super Bowl against the Bucks all over again. Couldn't do anything offensively. Everything
Yeah,
was going wrong. Like everything went wrong. I mean, the
yeah.
shanked punt, uh, just
Two defensive
penalties.
scores within what, 8 seconds?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, technically, Kansas City's offense outscored Vegas's.
Yeah,
The Raiders. It's still weird saying that. Uh, outscored the Raiders offense. I don't think Aiden O'Connell?
yeah. I believe
Yeah,
so.
Raiders quarterback. I don't think he completed a pass for the last three quarters.
He
I think he
didn't.
had like 68 yards.
Yeah, all in the first quarter.
So, and still got the dub against the Chiefs, Mahomes and the Chiefs. They just they don't look right. They don't look
No,
right at all. And
Mahomes running for his life most of the game. I mean,
now the Raiders have
terrible.
a great pass rush, like with Max Crosby there on the edge, and they got another really good pass rush. I mean that dude's a beast and has a motor that's 100 miles per hour, and he doesn't slow down. Which
Yeah,
I know he likes his cigars at least in front of the camera. So, but despite that, I mean his it hasn't affected his cardio at all. His
and that dude
cardio is
inhales
on point.
cigars. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
complete lunatic, but the
Yeah,
kind of guy you want on your defense. You know, rushing the passer. He's really good at what he does. So that's like the one thing the Raiders really have going for them, and Devontae Adams on offense. But still, you got a rookie quarterback. Um, I did like listening to the game, and like it kind of made me pull for the Raiders a little bit just hearing this on the commentary. Of course, Patrick Mahomes gifted his offensive lineman like golf carts, like new golf carts.
yeah.
And of course,
I heard
he's
he took. Heard he took them back today though.
I I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he ran for his life. He earned all 50 million a year of his money uh Monday afternoon.
Yeah,
And but that's what he gifted his offensive line. Aiden O'Connell, do you know what he did? Of course, he's not making near as much money, and I thought this was actually pretty cool and good to do on a budget. Did you hear what they said he did? He
no,
got
I have no idea.
his wife baked the offensive line cookies.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like right on. I'm sure they were great. But like he's not making near as much money as Patrick Mahomes, so he couldn't get him something like that. But baking cookies, I was like, okay, that kind of makes me want to pull for them a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a very it wasn't an entertaining game. It was a frustrating game to watch. So what is your theory about what's wrong with the Chiefs? Because they are what 9-6 now.
Yeah. It's all Taylor Swift's fault. That's my theory.
Well, for a while there, Kelsey was having better games. Like when it
Yes, he
first came
was.
out, he was having like much better games for during the game she attended,
Hmm.
and
He hasn't
everything's
really
kind of
done
tapered off.
anything for me in the last 5 weeks in fantasy. He has been sucking it up.
Yeah, he's not been the absolute stud top five like overall fantasy player that we're used to seeing from him. Of course, he's like what 34 now. I mean, he's getting up there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Getting up there. I wish I was 34.
right. I mean, for an NFL receiver, essentially
Yeah.
getting up there, but I have my I was trying to really kind of pinpoint what it was. Like what is wrong with the Chiefs? And it's not like complacency. It's not Andy Reid. It's not or being content. Um, you see Mahomes. You see you saw Kelsey throw his helmet. I mean, they still want it bad, and it's
Yeah.
just not working. And what it is, I mean, because I have Rasheed Rice on my fantasy team, so I paid very close attention to him. Throughout the game, where he was lined up, routes he was running, and fellow receivers. Of course, we're not going to get into Tony. Although he didn't do anything that I remember that just was highlight worthy, screwing things up like we're accustomed to. So credit to him there. He also didn't make any plays. But for me, what it is, like when the receivers, like what makes Kelsey so great? Like what's his greatest strength? He always finds a way to get open. And
Yeah.
how does he do that?
Freestyling.
He reads the defense and he finds the gap. He finds the spot where the defenders aren't going to be. And then Mahomes
Yep.
sees it and then hits him. That's why he's always that's why he was getting like whatever, however many catches a game. A lot.
Yeah.
It was
He was about leading receivers last year. I mean, a
yeah,
tight end about being number one.
yeah.
It's
Kelsey finds the spot, the open spot, either in zone or man. He
Yep.
finds that open gap and he gets there and he sits there. Or he goes to that spot and Mahomes hits him. These young receivers, Rashee Rice, etc. You saw it, Rashee Rice 3 or 4 times yesterday. When Mahomes would throw it to a specific spot where defenders weren't going to be, Rashee Rice just kept going.
Yeah.
These young receivers just know the route.
Mm.
They just know the route and they just run the route. They haven't for whatever reason comprehended to read the defense, especially in a zone like Vegas was playing yesterday, and just sit in that spot, sit in that open spot, and the best player in the world is going to he's going to get you the ball. For whatever reason, that's just not clicked with these receivers. As good as Andy Reid is, I'm sure they're going to find a way. If I can spot this, I know Andy Reid can. So surely they're going to, I'd say they should find a way to fix it, but man, here we are 15 games into the season. They still haven't done it yet. But it was glaringly obvious yesterday that that's the problem. Thoughts on that? Or did I just hit the nail on the head with it?
I believe you hit the nail on the head. Other than Kadarius Toney not being able to catch anything thrown his way, even if it hits him right in the chest, right in the hands, right in the face, he still can't catch it.
Did he do that yesterday?
No,
Yeah, well,
I don't even think they did the smart thing and didn't target him yesterday.
I was going to say, I don't remember him making or not making a play, making the highlight reel for another screw up. I was like, so, I mean, credit to him there. He didn't do anything. He didn't make a play, but hey, it's improvement at this point. But anyway, that's what was glaringly obvious to me watching that game and frustrating for me as a Rashee Rice fantasy owner in the playoffs. That,
Playoffs.
yeah, playoffs. That was happening. I mean, because no points for me, no points for the Chiefs. So
Yeah.
it's what it is there. All right. So in the other game, the big game last night, and I was really looking forward to this one.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Ravens and 49ers. Of course, you and I had picked last week. Like we kind of did. I had said that's the Super Bowl favorite. Were you on the
Yeah.
same page there? And then,
Yeah.
of course, we picked who we thought would win. You said
Somebody was bad
49ers.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, you said 49ers without hesitation.
Yeah.
Um, what made you say that without hesitation? I'm just curious.
Just their solid D, and they've been scoring more points than I think every other NFL team out there. I mean, Brock Purdy's looked solid all season, minus 1 or 2 games, minus yesterday for damn sure. Um,
That was bad.
but yeah, they've been outscoring everybody by quite a bit, and they're solid defense, man. The Ravens, they have solid D, but sometimes they just don't put up the numbers, put up the scores like San Fran does, but they sure did yesterday.
Well, and a lot of that was just capitalizing on San Francisco mistakes. Now, to me, it was close. I was like, these two are like same level as far as talent,
Yeah.
etc.
Like
But the
Mary Kate
difference,
and Ashley Olsen.
yeah, and and I had said last week the deciding factor to me was Lamar. It was not just Lamar; it was quarterback play.
Yeah.
Are you taking an MVP who's now going to be the favorite? I'd say to win it again this year. Are you going to take an MVP quarterback and an absolute playmaker in Lamar Jackson, or Brock Purdy, an unproven young guy who still people say I can throw 8 to 12 quarterbacks in that same spot and they'll have the same success. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I can understand why they're saying that.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm taking Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean Baltimore they have a great defense,
Yeah.
and we saw that yesterday. We saw that last night. But man, they made Brock Purdy look, not even practice squad worthy.
It made him look like a rookie for sure.
Yeah, and I heard some people saying a couple of those aren't on him, and there was like that one tip that was batted down, and there was another that was batted down at the line. I'm like, I mean, this is still the NFL defensive lineman. You have to work your way around that. But either way, a couple of those, what do you have? 4 picks. A couple of them were definitely on him. That first one for sure. That was picked off by the safety. I can't remember his name. I think he had 2 on the day. They're right before while they were in the red zone. I know that, but yeah, Brock Purdy. I think it's safe to say he's out of the MVP conversation.
He literally threw it away yesterday.
Yes, he did, and the Ravens just capitalized on it, and it was dominance. I mean, it was dominance on both sides of the ball. And San Fran, their defense, man. I mean, they were like half a second from making a play, like every time. And then Lamar would just be Lamar. He would he maneuver his way out of it, or get rid of it just in time, or
Yeah.
just like Lamar Jackson he's so smart, like with the football, like that style of play, running and being a dual threat quarterback in the NFL doesn't last, right? But Lamar's been banged up, but he's learned from this. He has
Mhm.
learned from this. He knows when to run. And there were a couple times last night he could have ran. He could have taken
Could
off
have
and
ran.
run. And he stayed and he threw.
Yeah.
And that's showing growth to me. And when he does take off and run, though, he knows when to go down. He knows how to go down. If he knows a hit's coming, he maneuvers his body in a way that he doesn't absorb as much punishment. Like he's figuring it out,
Yeah.
and it's cool to see. And I mean, dude's a really smart player. He doesn't get enough credit. There are people that recognize it, but he doesn't get enough credit for his football IQ.
I don't think he gets half the credit he deserves for his football IQ.
I would agree with that. I hear some people that recognize it,
Yeah.
but largely it goes unnoticed. That's fair to say. So if we do see these two teams again in the Super Bowl, you still picking the same?
No.
I don't know if they play again, if they match up again, it's not going to be that.
It's
It's
not
not
going to
going to
be
be
that.
that dominant.
Yeah, it won't be on a holiday, and yeah, it won't be like that. But I would switch my pick.
Wasn't it in San Francisco?
It
Yeah, the
was
game was
in
in San
San
Francisco
Francisco. Yeah, they went into San Fran and took care of business.
and thumped them. Absolutely thumped them. So it wasn't like, super cold climate or anything like that, like in
Nope.
Baltimore. What wasn't that? Can't put it on that. It was a home game, that candlestick. So yeah, it's. I had said the Ravens because of Lamar, and I would still say that's the reason, because Kyle Shanahan's a really good coach. He's going to figure out how to fix that, and Brock Purdy's smart enough to not make the same mistakes again. But still, it's easy to put like a game plan for Lamar on paper, but to go out and execute it's something completely different. And also, that Baltimore defense just showed how elite they were last night. So yeah, Baltimore's the favorite. Lamar's the favorite for the MVP. If he even cares about that at this point, I
I
think the
don't
dude
think he
just wants a
does.
ring. Yeah, dude
Yeah.
just wants a ring. He's not that kind of player. I'm sure if they want to give it to him, he'll take it, which I would do. But he's not going to say no thanks or anything. But yeah, he wants a ring. I'm pulling for the guy. I would love to see Ravens in the Super Bowl and display that kind of, because that's Ravens football.
Yeah.
Dominant defense. They lead the league in rushing. So being able to run the football, playing outstanding defense is Ravens football. But to have a Lamar Jackson at quarterback with that kind of like I said, run game and defense, that's scary. That's scary, and that's going to be your Super Bowl favorite as a result. I didn't jot this down on the topics list, but speaking of like not caring about accolades and things like that, have you seen any of the Barry Sanders documentary on Amazon Prime?
I have not. I've been meaning to watch it for the last couple of weeks. I really want to see it. I've been hearing a lot of good things.
I finished it over the weekend. I liked it. I'd give it like a solid B minus. I mean, it's well done. A couple of the commentators like really won. Just kind of gets on my nerves, but it was cool to see Eminem on there. It was cool to see, other guys like guys he played with, and just seeing a Barry Sanders interview, because he just was so not media shy. It just wasn't something he cared to do, and they talk about that, in the film. But the end, I guess I got closure because he kind of addresses it, but at the same time, it's very vague of why he decided to hang it up. Like it's clear, but it's not like really just confirmed and hammered home by him. But it's delivered in the way Barry Sanders would reveal it. Like he's got his kids around the table in London, like in downtown London, where he took off. He announced his retirement via fax and took off, and they kind of address it there. But I would definitely check it out, and if anything, just to see Barry Sanders highlights because he's the greatest running back I've ever seen, and you're reminded of it in that film. What made him so great, just his ability to just turn on a dime, his shiftiness. The guy has just, I mean, whatever is in God's like ACLs, whatever CLs are in his knees, and that's what he put in Barry Sanders' knees
Yeah.
for him to be able to cut and move like that. I mean, it's amazing. It's one of a kind. There will never be another Barry Sanders. So I very much suggest watching that. Pretty solid documentary. Okay, let's stick into football. All right, the Cowboys lost Christmas Eve night to the Dolphins. A very good
Hate to see it.
game.
Hate to see it.
Yeah. Did you say hate to see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, having Dak on my fantasy team, I at least wanted to see him do well. And he played better than he did last week. Last week was atrocious for all around, getting their asses kicked by the Bills. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Um, but to see, I mean, that was a great game. It was a great game between Dallas and the Dolphins. But Miami goes down the field, scores, wins it. Wasn't shocked by the outcome. It just shows Miami's for real. I guess if I'm a Cowboys fan, I feel a little bit better about that, but not really. I feel like that's something like they would do in the playoffs, like in the first
Yeah.
game, wild card round.
They can't really play away from home.
That and they just, I mean, they've won some big games this year, but that feels forever ago, and it really wasn't that long ago where they just really thumped the Eagles. But that's also when we didn't see necessarily the Eagles that we're seeing right now. Now the Eagles got a win against the Giants, but it's the Giants.
Yeah.
So take from that what you will. I still think it's a good team. And there's nobody except for San Fran in the NFC that's really I can say is better. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Dallas other than I don't trust them. Like I don't trust that team.
Same old Cowboys.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they won more than one playoff game. And
Yeah.
Miami, I mean, I could see them winning a playoff game. I don't see anybody better than Baltimore. And in the NFC, I still don't see anybody better than San Francisco. Like I said, and even when it was whatever it was, 31 to I don't know what 13 or whatever it was last night in the Ravens 49ers game, it still didn't necessarily feel like the 49ers were out of it. It felt like they could score. Yeah, if they can get a score, it felt like they were kind of right back in it. Because Baltimore's really big plays came at the end of the game, and a lot of it was capitalizing on the 49ers' mistakes. So I don't feel as good about the 49ers if I'm a 49ers fan after last night because how could you? But I don't think it's not doomsday or anything.
Yeah.
If they see the Ravens again in the Super Bowl, I'm still picking the Ravens, but I think you're going to get a better game than that. All right, so Buffalo keeps winning. Another NFL news. The Bills keep winning, so they kind of control their own destiny, don't they? I don't have the
Yeah.
playoff math in front of me, but
They
if they
are, man, I think they're officially a wild card, maybe. So they just have to keep winning.
yeah, and if I mean credit to Sean McDermott, Josh Allen and company for I mean turning it around, riding the ship because there was all that talk in the organization about the coach, you know, problems between ownership and Sean McDermott. And to those guys' credit, I mean, they put that away and they're taking care of business. They're focusing on football. They're taking care of business. They keep winning and control their own destiny at this point. So if the Bills can get in the playoffs, the Bills are going to be a problem for whoever has to play them. That could be that could be like 2000 whatever, like 2009 New York Giants. You know, the last Super Bowl they won, where they just really kind of got hot at the right time,
Yeah.
and they had now they had won a Super Bowl prior to that, you know, like 2 or 3 years earlier. But I as they were going to the playoffs, I was like, that team's going to win the Super Bowl. I was like, they're going to win the Super Bowl, and they did just because they looked like the best team at that point. You could make that case really for Buffalo right now. If they're playing like they are right now, I like their chances against anybody.
Hmm.
Okay, and other news, other NFL news, Baker Mayfield. Looking more like the Baker Mayfield of a few years ago when we thought he was like, you know, at least Vegas thought he was an MVP caliber, you know, candidate. I
Yeah.
think he's got
He
what?
definitely earned that bonus money yesterday
What was his bonus?
or Sunday. I think it was an extra mil for winning so many games.
Well, good for them. I mean, they're 8-7 right now, leading the division. Baker's got like 25 touchdowns and 8 picks, I believe it is. I mean, he's having a really good year. For Baker Mayfield, he's having like a ceiling Baker Mayfield season. You know what I mean? Like he's well, like if it telling you those numbers, like, and that's Baker Mayfield. It's like, okay, Baker Mayfield is he's having a really good season. I mean, that's a good season for any quarterback, I guess. But
Yeah.
that just feels like if Baker Mayfield's having a good year, like that's what he's going to have. He's going to have 3,000 something yards and 25 touchdowns and 8 picks. And that's really good. And you put that on a good team, I mean, you're going to have success. So, I mean, good for him. Good story there. Even better story for me. Browns and Lions are both they both have 10 plus wins. I think the last time that
Wow.
happened, it was like the 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lions 11-4, Cleveland 10-5. People making a big deal about Joe Flacco, and I'm like, I mean, Joe Flacco's really playing the same way he always kind of has, minus that run in the Super Bowl where he had ridiculous like 9 touchdowns to no picks or something. Like this is Joe Flacco. He's just doing it on a good team.
Yeah.
Like that's all the Browns really needed was a quarterback. And Deshaun Watson is clearly not the Deshaun Watson of old.
No.
We knew he'd never live up to that contract anyway. but he's not even lived up to a quarter of it at this point. And Dorian Thompson, whatever his other name is, sorry, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just genuinely don't remember what the rest of his last name was. Thompson Robinson, is that it? Dorian DTR, is that what they call him? Dorian Thompson Robinson. Anyway, he's just clearly not ready to. You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
I do. I do.
Okay, it's like you had a look of like, who's he even talking about? Athletic guy, and I mean, did well on a 2 point conversion play in their game. That
Yeah.
like I'd say Sunday, but I don't even remember when they played at this point. It's a bad thing about holiday schedule. It's like, well, was it Saturday? Was it Monday? Like, when did they play? So I feel in their last game rather than saying Sunday. But yeah, I think it is Dorian Thompson Robinson. Can you Google that for me real quick
Sure. Yeah.
while I finish my thought here? But yeah, that's really all Cleveland needs is just a guy that can throw the ball down the field. Hit Amari Cooper, hit Njoku in the flat. Just a guy that can spin it. And Joe Flacco can do that. He can do that as arm wise about as well as most. So I mean, I'm not surprised Flacco's having success there. All right, any update on the name there?
You are correct.
Okay, there we are. DTR, Dorian Thompson Robinson. Memory serves me semi well. All right, so you want to talk about fantasy football for a little bit?
Yeah, I'll give you a fun tidbit of information. I had, let's see, I had Amari Cooper, and then I had shit, Gabe Davis, and I had who was the other one that went off this week? Uh
George
Other wide
Pickens.
receiver.
George Pickens.
Oh, and Pickens. All on my bench.
You had all three of them on your bench.
Pickens went for 40. Freaking Cooper went for 60.
Now this
And
isn't
Gabe Davis
standard
went
leagues,
for
but
yeah.
they all went for a
Gabe
lot.
Davis went for 20. Well, actually, I traded Gabe Davis off in that week just to pick up a defense. So, but I had him on the bench in my other league. But still,
Oh,
I
man.
had 100 points sitting on my bench between two players, but I still won.
Okay, at least
So
you won.
I'm going to the ship.
There you go. Wow, that's amazing. How mad would you have been if you would have lost?
Oh, I'd have been furious. And I was playing Luke, but yeah, I would have been severely furious considering that I played him 2 weeks ago, lost by 4 points, and that was the game where Stroud got knocked out in like the first quarter. So Stroud put up 3 points and I lost by four.
Okay, well, my team is done. I lost by 4 points. Of course, in my league, it's a standard league. Playoff rounds are 2 weeks. I lost by 2 points in the open, or I was down 2 points heading into the final week of the semifinals, and ended up losing by 4 points. The guy had literally six guys playing in the game last night, Ravens and 49ers. He had so I had no idea how it was going to go.
Yeah.
And he had McCaffrey, he had Brandon Ayuk, and Brandon Ayuk did nothing. He had done nothing the last 2 weeks, and he didn't do anything until like I left my grandma's at the end of the third quarter because I got to get home. I got to be at work tomorrow. And so I'm listening to the game. Got Dexter in the car. I'm listening to the game. He wasn't because he's deaf. But yeah, listening to the car, you don't hear Brandon Ayuk all game. And then I heard him like 3 or 4 times at the end of the game for like breaking off for like 20 and 30-yard gains. I'm like, well, I lost. And then sure enough, I get home or I get to the first red light coming into Cabot, and I'm like, yep, there I am, down 2 point, or I was down like 2 points. And I had Isaiah Likely as the only guy playing, and he hadn't done anything all game. So I was like, it's over. Plus, they're
Yeah.
winning by a lot. I knew they weren't going to throw it. The Ravens, that is. And sure enough, I ended up losing by 4 points. So, yeah, that was a bummer. But then again, my team didn't play well enough to win. I had Dak in the last week when he essentially was useless as
Yeah.
fantasy quarterback, at least. And yeah, my guys just didn't play well enough to win. So it's what it is there.
In my other league, though, I did win third place, outscored everybody in the league. So if my team wouldn't have shit the bed last week, I could have been champion this week. But third place still had a pretty healthy payout, so I'm fine with it.
All right. Well, congratulations. Hopefully you do well in the ship. I couldn't care less about the third place game. I moved like Jonathan Taylor in for Isaiah Likely. I was like, I'll at least make that move to say I did something. And I'm not going to look at it probably the rest of the year. So good luck there. All right. So we'll kind of wrap things up. All right. So uh, after Christmas, I did watch a little basketball. Celtics beat the Lakers. That ended up being a pretty decent game. Nuggets
I
beat the
heard LeBron
Warriors.
died.
What?
So I heard LeBron died on the floor. Him over exaggerating an injury.
Yeah, he's
So
a
Christmas tradition.
LeBron's quite the flopper. It's what he does. Uh, yeah, but it ended up being interesting late. But they never really threatened the Celtics. Celtics have the best, tied with the Timberwolves for the best record in the NBA right now. 23-6 Celtics. T Wolves 22-6. People act surprised by that, but I mean they really shouldn't be. I mean look at the Wolves roster. I mean they got the best young, at least American player, and
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards. He's averaging 25 a game. You got Rudy Gobert. You got Karl Anthony Towns. You got 36-year-old Mike Conley still out there killing it, leading the team in assists, playing nearly 30 minutes a game. How wild is that, right? Like think about that. Like Mike Conley still in the league, and that was Greg Oden's teammate at Ohio State. And of those two, like Mike
Yeah.
Conley is the one still in the league. Of course, Oden has been out for a long time. He had that short stint with the Heatles, but he actually
Odin
got him
probably
a
looks
ring.
yeah. Odin probably looks what 65 by now. Hell, he
He
looks
looked
40 on his rookie year.
well, I was gonna say he looked about 65 then. But
Yeah.
yeah, his rookie year. But yeah, his knees were about 65. Uh yeah. Sorry, Greg, for the shot, but it's what it is. But yeah, Mike Conley's still killing it. Um, yeah. So shout out to the T Wolves. All right, and Pistons have lost 26 straight games now, so they are 2-27 on the year.
They
So
lost
after
tonight.
okay, so 27 straight. So after
Yeah.
going 2-1 to start the season, they've now lost 27 straight games. Now 2-28 on the year. Spurs not much better at 4-24. So before we okay, Shohei Ohtani gifted his teammate's wife Porsche for allowing him to have number 17.
Yeah.
And all right, so quick, college football playoff picks. Who you got?
I have Texas and I have Bama.
I have the exact same. I'm going to go Texas,
And
Alabama.
and my dollar says the same thing.
All right, so yeah, and then we'll have national championship picks next time. We'll see how that goes this weekend. But until then, we'll see y'all next week. This is Grand Pal.
Brother Brown.
Happy New Year, everyone. Deuces.
Hell yeah. Happy New Year.
There you go.